showing a live connection. A couple seconds here. I'm waiting for video to show up. Okay, video is showing up, which means we can now initiate the... Yep, I see it. Okay, switching to live chat. Activate, please. Switching to live chat and activate, please. And let's do a test. So, quick. Oh, wait. Remember to hit the button. There we go. Now, we'll say, I'm starting to finally get a thing of this. Test 1. I heard a noise and I can see it. That's a good sign. Let's go for test number 2. TEST2. I see it and I heard a noise. And finally, test number 3. TEST3. And I see it. All right, we're gonna close. Hey, Furcorn. Happy Friday. Bear with me 1 second. I'm just finishing up all of my setup stuff, which actually, so far, has not been a complete disaster, I'm happy to say. So I think, for once, this is gonna go, well, I shouldn't say for once. Now that I kind of have my procedure down, which is anybody who does professional work will tell you is the key. All right, Discord, we'll quit that. That's going now. All right, let's see. Hey, Skippy. Now, okay, wait, Skippy. I want to make sure I have this right. Skippy, are you Aaron who's emailed me for the proof? I know there's somebody. I remember somebody, but I don't know if that's you or not because I'm terrible at remembering people's handles, if that's what they're still called, what they used to be called. So, all right. Oh, good. I remember to silence my phone at least. That's a good sign. So that's something. Okay, well, welcome, Aaron. I actually was tempted, I will tell you, to stream my work on your proof, but I know that people get a little bit, some people don't like anybody seeing their stuff before they see it, so I didn't do that in the work up to it, but I thought about it, because I thought it'd be interesting to see the process, but that's fine, because I have something else I have to work on anyway, so I'm working on 2 things simultaneously. So, let's see here. I'm good, Furcoin. How are you doing? I'm doing all right. You know, it's Friday. I'm doing this a little earlier than usual because I will probably not be able to stream next week. So I figured, all right, let me do this now while I have the time. All right, so I can close this window and I can close this window. And now everything should be in place at 3 minutes. Not bad. So let's roll that. And here we go. And I'm just waiting for... Oh, you know what? Wait a minute. Why? Oh, there it is. Oh, it was behind that. Okay. Just making sure. I didn't see the chat window for a minute. I forgot it goes behind that when that does the opening. So, okay. So here's where we are, which is a little bit further than the last stream. I was working on this, the book cover. So I'm still working on this. I did a little bit of work on it this morning when I had some free time, which was really not much. I just kind of added some detail in on the mountain. Yeah, well, I can actually send you, because my iPad records everything that I did. So I can actually send you a link to that once it's done. Well, it is pretty much done, but now I have to transfer it to the card. So that I will be doing this weekend, doing the actual transfer, because I have to black and white the whole thing. Actually, I can show this very quickly. Where is that? That is down here. Right, so this, basically what I have to do is take this, and I'm going to make this, all the lines will be black. And I'll actually remove, like, the skulls I'm going to take off, and I'm going to take off some of the lines in the actual, you know, the dress, because that stuff I don't need to. The trick, I'll tell you the trick. This image is very large, right? Then I have to reduce this image way down to realistically about that. And so all that detail, basically what I do is I take this image, I print it out in black and white, and I'm going to trace using carbon paper the basic forms onto the card. Then I do the rest. So, you know, the skulls and everything, those are just going to be done by hand. All the little detail work in the dress, like down there, all that stuff, that all doesn't need to be there. All that I really need is the big kind of outlines and the basic forms. So that's what I'm going to be doing this weekend, is basically stripping this down, monochroming it, printing it out at the correct size, and then basically taping it down to the card, starting the transfer. And then I'll take photos of that as I'm doing it, and I'll send them to you. So I won't probably be able to make too much progress on that in the next week, just because my mother is flying out tomorrow, and then she's going to be here for the next week. So I will probably have some work done on it, but not as much as I will the following week. So it is coming along, though. It will be done. It will be done, and I'm actually looking forward to it, because I just got a whole bunch of new green colored markers. A bunch. And I can actually show you. So this, where is it? Where is that? Where did I put that? Oh, it's in the photos thing. It won't show up here. Yeah, I forgot it won't show up here. But I have, actually, I can do, hold on a minute. Oh, it doesn't matter. I just got a whole bunch of new greens. So there should be a lot more variation in the greens on that. So it'll look good. Do I have, no, 250's gone, unfortunately. I'm at, no, I'm well into, let's see, what number will yours be? I can actually tell you. I can tell you what number yours will be, because you won't see this, but I have a tracking sheet for this, because it's really important not to double numbers. Let's see. So yours will be, I could tell you in a second. I mean, it's not a very high number, because the foils were the ones that went first, but let's see. You will be, well, okay, you know what? I'll tell you this. I'm going to give you the option here, because you may want one of these other numbers. So as far as the non-foils, I have 19 through 50. So 19, 20, 21, whatever. So if there's another number in there that you want, like 22, if you like the twos, 22 is available. Or if you want a round number like 30 or 20 or 40 or 50, I have those. But no, the first 18 all are gone. So I'm going to leave that up to you. Do you want me to just give you the next number in the sequence, which would be number 19? Or do you want a specific number after 19 up to 50? I'll leave that up to you. You don't tell me right now either. You can just email me with that, because I don't number them until the very, very end. So it's not a problem. And you are the next one in line. So I will hold off on any other numbers until you tell me what you want for yours, because you are next. Let's see. Okay, 50. You got it. I will put you down for 50 right now. So hold on, I gotta get to my keyboard. And we will give you 50 of 50. Yep, you got it. I will mark that as yours right now. Sorry, you can't see any of this because I'm doing this all in the background. But I will put that down as yours. It is now written right there and marked as yours. And there we go. And then I will save my little spreadsheet here. File, save. Saving. Saved. Okay, you have 50 of 50. So, yep, that's yours. Okay, that was easy. All right. See how easy that is? Nothing to it. That's why it's good to have a tracking sheet, because then I can find this stuff out really, really quickly. Okay, you got it. No problem. Not a problem. It's weird. I know a lot of people request certain numbers. I haven't gotten that many specific requests. I've gotten some odd ones. 13, which I guess makes sense. What was the other one? It was like 34 or something like that. And I was like, sure, if you want 34, you can have 34. It's fine with me. You know, it doesn't make any difference to me. I'm going to drop this down because I don't like how weird that looks. So let's drop that to 50. And then let's drop this probably. Actually, you know what? Maybe, hold on. Let me drop this more. Oh yeah, I know why that looks odd. Okay, so let's drop that to 5 because that's just solid black. And then let's drop this one down maybe a little bit. I want there to be more of the kind of dust visible. And then we'll drop this one down to, where is this one? Why is that one there? Oh, I see what I did. This one, yeah, I see what I did. I made a mistake here. Okay, so back here, I don't need 2 of these. So I need to erase this part of this so that the other part can show up. Yeah. It's the only problem when you're working on multiple transparencies. It's really easy to lose track. Yeah, because that should be there, but this one shouldn't. So I just need to get rid of anything here because all that's going to end up doing is overlapping, and that's why that other one looks so weirdly dark. It's because there's two of them. Okay. And then same thing here. Anything, this one is specific to, hold on, is that smaller cloud. So again, anything outside of the bounds of this needs to go. Because that would be, let's see. Yeah. Well, actually, this one, hold on a minute. This one would be in here. So actually, everything that isn't this needs to go. Because this layer is specific to this dust cloud. Right, that's the front one. Yes, that's the front dust cloud. So let me just erase this stuff. So bear with me a minute. Am I on the right one? Yes. Because I didn't realize that when I was doing it earlier. I was wondering why that looked off to me. That's why. Because I'm trying to create transparent layers by erasing some of them. But if the parts that I didn't erase are still on top of each other, then it kind of defeats the point of the transparency. So yeah, wasn't really keeping track of that when I was doing it earlier, but as I so often say, this is what's great about digital. When you can layer things, it's very easy to fix these stupid mistakes that often happen. See, that's where, I'll be honest with you, Aaron, the tricky bit of doing the physical cards is not making a mistake. Because if I make a mistake on the cards, that's it. You can't fix it. So it is a bit nerve-wracking when I've gotten so used to working in digital where mistakes aren't permanent most of the time as long as you notice them, to then do the cards again, to go back to physical, or traditional media I should say, not physical, which I did for years and years and years before there was iPads and everything else, it is a little nerve-wracking because you just become very aware that, hey, that's one of the reasons, by the way, that I don't number the cards until I'm done, because that way if I do screw up, which I did with the foil ones, with the foil cards, there are actually only 49 of those because I screwed one up so badly that I got really, really upset about it, and I just destroyed the card. I just nuked it. It's gone. So that only has 49. You know, I mean, it just really, really bugged me that I screwed that thing up. Really did. I was very annoyed about it. So I just shredded the card because I went, you know what? I don't want this ever to be seen. It was a dumb mistake too. It was just something stupid. But that's what I mean about with traditional stuff. When you're doing things on, something physical in the real world, not digital, if you screw it up, well, I shouldn't say if you screw it up. Depending on how you screw it up, it may not be recoverable. And the problem with the cards is because the scale is so small, because they're such tiny cards. Yeah, well, and that's what's different about the cards, I'll be honest, compared to anything else, is I have always worked in very large scale. Most of my traditional media picture, even these things, this is an exception because this is a book cover, so I know the dimensions. So this is only like 9 by 6, I think, or something like that. I generally work at 18 by 24 size. That's usually what I work, 18 inches by 24. So the cards are really one of the rare times I've ever worked this small. And that's fine. It's not, that itself isn't the big deal. What makes it tricky is that the transfer, when you use carbon paper on them, there we go, okay, now I think we're in good shape. You cannot erase that because of the nature of the transfer paper. When it makes that that's basically permanent. You'll see it sort of you'll see the areas where I did the big forms because the ink covers it, but if you kind of angle it, you'll see the transfer carbon. You can't get that off. It just will not come off. And so I was doing the transfer, and what must have happened, because I do it differently now, is I didn't have the tape secure enough. So I think in the course of me tracing it, my hand moved the card underneath, and I didn't notice it. And it wasn't much, but because it's so small, the lines were all off after that, and I couldn't fix it. There was just no way to fix it. I don't even think it would have been possible. And that's why now I do it very, very differently. That was one of the first cards I did. I still did the card. I just had to get a different one. But I was so furious when that happened, because I thought this is exactly the thing I was trying to avoid. Because usually I'm pretty good with that stuff, and I just screwed it up. And so that card, I literally just tore it in half and threw it away. And I went, I never want anybody to see this thing, because it just looked so bad. So, yeah, that's the trick. But like I said, I have figured out the better way to secure the card now, so it's not a big deal. Your card will not have that problem, but it was not it wasn't great. I will say that it was not a great day when that happened, because has yours been the hard? No, I wouldn't say it's the hardest. No, it hasn't been the hardest. The one that I did right before yours, the last one that I finished, that one was the trickiest, because they asked me, well, it was tricky at first. I wasn't really sure if I could do it. The one that was right before yours was somebody had asked if I could take Sheoldred, but make her fit into the newest, what was the newest campaign? The one where it's like Dominaria Reborn or Rebirth or something like that. And so now everybody's in white and red. It's a lot of body horror stuff. So it's a lot of like the armor's been whited out, and there's all this kind of, again, body horror stuff where you can see like the muscles and everything underneath. It's Dominaria something. I just don't remember what it's, Resurrection, something like that. So they wanted it in that style. So they wanted her to be like that. And I at first I was thinking, I'm like, well, how am I going to do that? Because so much of what Wizards sent me as far as Sheoldred, like the reference material and all the stuff I've seen of her, she's a fundamentally dark character. Her armor is black. In fact, they kept telling me when I was working on the card, the official card for them, I did a couple of versions, and they said, no, you got to make it darker. You got to make it darker. You got to make it darker. The armor is too light. It's too light, which I didn't think it was that light, but, they said it's their thing. So they said, no, it's got to be darker. And I mean, to the point where I almost blacked it out. And I remember when I was doing it, I was like, wow, really? That dark you guys wanted? Okay, well, I can do it. Remaster, maybe that's it. And I don't think Sheoldred actually exists in that, but there was some concept art I saw of her within that particular release. But I don't think she's officially been brought back to life. At least I don't think. I could be wrong about that. But so that was tricky, because at first I couldn't even imagine. I couldn't imagine the character in white armor. It was so weird to me, because I just thought, wow, I'm so used to this character being literally a dark character in everything that they kept telling me to do with her. And then I kind of thought about it. I'm like, well, okay, I'll just take the black armor and I'll just white it out. And then as far as the tendons and the muscles, then once I kind of thought about it for a couple of minutes, then it was easier. But at first I almost said no. I almost told the person, I don't think I'm going to be able to do this, because I can't figure out how this is going to work. Because, I mean, at this point, I've done so many images of her, and she's always generally kind of the same as you're used to seeing her, where she's kind of that darker color. And I was just sitting here going, I don't know how this character works this way. I don't know how she can look like this. And then I figured it out. I just had to kind of step back from it and just kind of forget the stuff. I think with that one, I literally took, I want to say I took a week where I didn't even answer. I was like, all right, let me think about this for a week. Let me think about how this would work. And because also they wanted, originally the request was to have her holding like knives and surgical tools. And what was the other thing? There was a couple of them. It was the remastered thing. It was the surgical tools, and to be, they wanted to see the tail, the tail, her tail. And again, if you're dealing with something this small, trying to put a lot of detail in it, you can, all right, just looking at this, right? You look at the screen. Now, when you see this large, you see a lot of detail here, right? But when it gets smaller, you start to lose some of it. And that's about, you know, that's that's about a card size, more or less. See how much less you see at that size? So you have to, when I'm doing these things, I have to think about, okay, what are you actually going to be able to see? You know, without literally putting the card right up to your face. And even then, things that are very detailed when they're large, they lose their detail when they get smaller. So as an artist, you have to think about that. And I have to go, okay, I have to resist the urge to just put everything in there. Like with the card I'm going to do for you. I originally had this idea where I was going to, okay, I'll show you. I'll give you a perfect example. So on that one, on yours, I originally was going to put skulls on every cloud layer. But the problem with that is, again, at that size, it might start to just look like noise. It might just start to look like there's nothing there. Whereas with the spacing and the colors in between, it's going to stand out more. But my first impulse was, okay, I'm going to put every single skull in every single one of these cloud layers. And then when I thought about, okay, yeah, but that's because I'm drawing it this big. It's going to have to go that far out. And the only way you're going to be able to tell that they're skulls is if there's some space between them. And then you can tell what they are. That's the tricky part. So, and then it's the same thing where I could literally put a ton of detail in here, but at that size, you're never going to see it. So that's the tricky bit with cards. And I don't think any of them have been so difficult that I went, oh, I can't do it. I haven't had one where I've had to say no yet. And I haven't had one where I sent the design to the person and they said, no, I don't like it. If anything, you know, back and forth, we're like, okay, can you add this? Can you add this? Oh yeah, sure, I can add that. Whatever, that's no problem. So no, I wouldn't say, none of them have really been hard. They're all just kind of different puzzles that you have to solve creatively. But yours was the first one. I'm going to get a drink of water, hold on. I will say that yours was the first one where somebody asked me to mix different things together. You know, you were talking about the Dr. Oryx? I don't remember the name. I think it's Onyx. You know, to fuse her with Sheoldred and then also have those different types of other cards. And at first, when I first read it, whatever the first combo it was, that was what I was originally going to do. And then I started thinking about the smog stuff, and I was like, oh, that's an interesting element because I haven't done that with her really. I haven't done smokiness. I've done a lot of like sharp angles and harsh geometry and that type of thing, but I haven't done something where there's like smoke or fog involved. Well, I mean, it's like everything. Everybody has some type of thing that they're good at, and musicians are like that for me, where I watch people who are musicians compose music, and I have no idea how they do it. I don't know how they can think in their heads, okay, this is a good friend of mine is a composer who does like experimental music. And I can't, and I just talked to him about it. I did a podcast with him in the last 3-4 weeks. And, you know, and he was telling me about, because I said, well, how do you even start? And for him, he starts with, okay, I want it to be this long, the time. So that's sort of, I guess, like having a canvas like this. Okay, I know it's going to be this size. But then how do you figure out where to start? Like, you know, obviously when he does it, he knows how to do it. He does it. But I'm the same way with that, where I'm like, I don't know how people do music. I have no idea how people can even start to hear something in their head and then be able to do it. That's like sorcery to me. You know, I can't even imagine it. Okay, is this clouds? Okay, we got to do some clouds. So let's do that. I think that's good. I think I have this where I want it down here. So I'm going to leave that alone now. And let's do some clouds. Easy stuff, comparatively. Just got to make big shapes. Clouds are easy because I just like to make big circles. So, but yeah, that's what it is. It's just a matter of, you know, there's things that certain people can see in their heads and formulate, and then that becomes whatever their creative output is. And, you know, so I like stuff like somebody telling me, like you did, okay, can do it like this, or like, you know, the cards you were referencing, because that, you know, some people just want, literally, I've had some people who say, oh, can you just do the art on the front of the card on the back? which is fine. I mean, people, I'm not opposed to that. I was looking because I have a large print of that Shieldred art that I did for them hanging on my wall. And I have to say, that's one of these few pieces that I've ever done that I'm really genuinely more and more happy with over time. I generally don't like most of my artwork. So I really like that one, so I'm very happy to just do it. Let's see. It's been an idea of mine for a while with both my decks, because the other one is to get Rog Monster. It's a 3-card combo. That one has 2 creatures and a land, so it's definitely able, and I don't see a lot of other people asking for combos. Yeah, no, it is. That's, like I said, I'm not aware. I haven't seen too many other ones that appear to be combos like that. Not that I would recognize. Now, I'll admit, I don't know the game as well as most people do. In fact, I've never played it. So there may be things that I just don't pick up on that other people would immediately say, oh yeah, there's a combo. But it's certainly the first one I've been asked to do, which I was like, oh, this is interesting, because I like that stuff. That doesn't, you know, it's interesting to see what people come up with, because that itself, to be honest, is its own sort of, that's its own creativity, is to say, okay, I want these 2 combos, or what I want to see what they look like together. That's the same thing. I mean, that's the same thing as having the idea for something like this book cover. Is you did it, you effectively were creative in terms of going, okay, there's a potential in these combinations. So that is the same, basically what you're doing is the creative process. You know, the thing that I'm doing is I'm executing an idea, that vision. That's it. And that's a lot of what this is. You know, when it comes to like artist proofs and people requesting things, is when you request a proof, if you're saying, oh, I want this specific thing, you are in fact doing the same thing that an artist does. It's just that there's that one step extra that is tough for some people, which is getting it out of your head. I say this a lot, and onto some other medium, which is not easy for me either. Hey, Chill Mode, welcome to the stream. Thanks for stopping by. Well, it's Friday. That's good. The weather is very nice. That's good too. And I'm getting close to getting this book cover done for my friend, which is great because the book cover that he's currently using that I did years ago sucks. And I don't like it because I did not have the ability to do that in digital when I did it for him the first time, and so I do not like the cover. It worked because there was no other option for a while, but it's overdue for me to do a better version of it, and that's what I'm doing. This is so much better than the one that I did for him that it's not even really fair to compare them. Okay, so far, so good. This is actually, believe it or not, this is not really even work for me. This is a bit of a break because I'm cleaning up and getting the house ready for my mom coming out to visit. So this is basically a downtime. Oh man, well, you know, I'm really, number one, I'm glad you're all right. But the other thing is, I was happy. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know that stuff got damaged and people are, you know, it didn't do nothing. It was a powerful storm. It did affect a lot of people. But from what I've heard and read, it apparently wasn't as bad as they were afraid it would be. So that's good. We have family members down there too, and I've heard from all of them, fortunately, and everybody seems to be relatively fine. Actually, the one friend of the family had more damage from Helene than Milton, where she had 4 feet of water in her house. So that's not great, unfortunately, but she survived. She's okay. She has a place to stay. So not the worst news, not compared to some people. But yeah, it's not good. It's not good. That's for sure. So glad that you're doing all right. And I really, really hope that this is the worst of it as far as the storms. I don't know. I mean, the weather has gotten so weird in the last few years that you really just don't know what's coming next, to be honest. I mean, we just went through, not that this is any comparison, because it isn't, but we just went through, I don't even know how many days of 100+ heat, and that just ended. We were into October with 103 degrees, which, let me tell you, that's not normal. Or it wasn't. I don't know if it's going to be normal now, because it's hard to say. But that's not ideal, because if you don't have air conditioning or you can't, let me tell you something, the electric bill ain't cheap. Yeah, that's, I don't like the fact that I understand to a degree that you want to have people aware how bad it could be, because people will underestimate these things. A perfect example is that friend of ours who is down in Florida. She did not think, has never really thought, oh, it's never going to actually flood here. They always overblow this. And then sure enough, 4 feet of water, and that house is going to have to be gutted and redone. So there's the one side of it, which is, hey, you have to be aware that it can be this way, but they do go overboard. There's no doubt about it. And unfortunately, this is just how media is, and it gets worse all the time because, there's more and more media outlets all competing for attention. And what they do is everybody wants to have the most sensational thing so that people go and watch them. And so they overblow things. And it doesn't help anybody. It's bad. So I agree, it's not great. But at the same time, I understand that if they don't, there are people who will not listen when they're told to evacuate. And then, you have first responders who have to go out and try to rescue these people, which isn't really fair to them either when some of these people should have left. So it's a mess. I'll just leave it like that. It's a mess. But like I said, I'm glad that you're doing all right. And, I am very happy as far as I have heard that this storm was not the worst case scenario. The other problem with hurricanes too is that you can only predict them so far. They can do odd things. As an example, one of the things that they had said about this storm is one of the reasons it didn't end up being worse is because the storm took a turn and kind of weakened itself. Now, if it hadn't, there's really no way to know what that would have resulted in. And you can't, storms, natural weather stuff is tough to predict. So, for all I know, to be fair about it, for all I know, all the news outlets were being told by the meteorologists, hey, this thing is going to be really bad. Because that's how they do it. They do computer models. Let's see here. Hoarding is what blows my mind. I couldn't even get it. Yeah, that's, the same thing happened during the pandemic. If you remember, it was the same thing. I remember at one point, somebody I know saying, I have to go to Target and buy, 2 tons of toilet paper because, I'm going to run out. And I was sitting here going, okay, and I'm not going to get too specific here, but I'm like, unless there's something going on with your stomach that you are using more toilet paper than you usually do, you should be able to somewhat figure out what you need and not have to buy more than that. And we never did that. During the whole thing, I was just like, okay, I know generally. Oh, the thing just froze. Let me fix that. I saw it. Give me a second here. Oh, it didn't. Okay, no, it's good. I thought it froze. It looked like it froze for me for a minute, but I think it was just hung up for a second. But that was one of these things where I was just like, okay, we don't need to buy that much toilet paper. We really don't. Even if the store is out for another month, which nobody thought realistically. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. I'm very happy that I never really got into Facebook because I don't think it's a good place to be. So I really never had much of a presence over there. I maintained a Facebook site. I think it's still there for the podcast, just in case people want to find it that way. So it's there, but it does nothing. It's dormant as far as there's no postings on it. It just has this show's address, and on the off chance somebody stumbles across it and goes, oh, well, that might be a weird thing to listen to. That's it. I don't have one for my art stuff. Didn't bother because, honestly, I didn't want to contribute any more to that site. I'm not a big fan of Mark Zuckerberg. I'm not a fan of that site. So, yeah, not for me. I think you're better off. Yeah, I think that's smart. I'm not anti-social media the way some people are now, where they're like, oh, it's all terrible for you. I don't think that's true. I think social media can be a great place to talk to people. I don't think there's anything wrong with it by itself. I think it's like anything else where you just have to go, okay, is this making me feel better or worse? And if it's making you feel worse, then you need to get away from it. That's kind of my general feeling on it. Okay, let's go ahead. All right, we're going to try something with the clouds. The color's fine. Now let's see what happens if we blur that a little bit. If that looks good or bad. I don't know. Well, not that much. I don't know. I don't know if I like it better with the blur or without it. That's tough to say. That's without, and that's with. Geez, I don't know. I'm going back and forth on that one. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to duplicate the layer, and then I'll just blur one, and I can just have them both, and then I'll make a decision later. I don't have to decide it right now. So let's do a 5% on that one. And then the only thing with that layer is that probably bled into the sky. So I probably... Yeah, see, it's really hard to see it, but it bled into the sky right there. So if I turn that off, it'll be easy. I mean, it's still not easy to see it, but there's a little bit of bleed over there, which honestly nobody would ever in their a million years, unless you zoomed in this far on it, would ever see. So I don't know that I'm going to really worry about it, because I don't think it's really even that visible. I don't even, yeah, okay, you can barely see it on the screen. Yeah, I don't think I need to worry about this. I think it's going to be fine. Yeah, I don't think it matters. I'm just going to leave the rest of it alone. Okay, so now I'm still not sure that that's going to be the final sky color in the background either, but I want it to look alien, so... yeah, thanks. You know what? This is coming out fairly well. I really, yeah, I like where it's going. There's a couple little things that I got to try to figure out. I got to tweak maybe, which probably is the villain's eyes will probably not stay that color, I think, because they're too hard to see when it's smaller. So I think what I'm going to end up having to do is maybe make his eyes yellow, just because I think it's going to be easier to see them. Actually, why am I even doing that? Why don't I just do this? Let's do a new layer. Go yellow. Yeah, that's kind of that is kind of exactly the angle I was going for, so that's good that it's showing up that way. Yeah, I think that's smaller. See, I think you can see him a lot better now compared to with just the red, because you really can't see the red, so I think it's going to have to be that. That's fine. I like red better. Red is just a more kind of traditional, what do you call it? Evil color, but yellow reads better, so I'll probably just make it yellow, and that way you can see him. Because the book cover, it's not going to be that small. It'll probably be about there. So I still think it reads better with yellow, even at that size. I think it's going to be better. So I think that's where I'm going to go with it. All right, let's do some planets. Let's get some planet colors in here. Is there anything on this, or is it empty? Empty layer. Perfect. All right, so with the planets, they're going to be like striated, so they won't be just one color. But let's go ahead and... Actually, let me see. What color... Let me look up on the web here. Let me look up what color Saturn is. I feel like it's green, but I could be wrong. Okay, well, I guess it depends what picture. It's actually kind of a dusty yellow. Interesting. Well, I don't know that I want to make... Ooh, orange. Here, this image, it's more orange. Okay. I wouldn't be opposed to an orange planet. That would be all right. Let's see. Let's see what that looks like exactly. Oh, not like that. Let's get the paint brush out here. And this is, of course, just a first pass on it. And what I'm probably going to do, I'll show you, is my... Oh, actually, you know what? That's... I'm an idiot. What I want to do, I should have done that. So what I got to do is this. Let's go with this, and let's just trace this line around. You can't see that, but it's just doing this. This does not have to be perfect. But if I do that, and then I say make that a circle. Okay, and let's center that circle kind of inside of the border of that. So if I do that, right, and then I take my paintbrush and I fill this in, because my idea, I'll show you, is I actually want to get rid of the black lines entirely from these, and these will be slightly blurred, because in the atmosphere they would be. They would not be crisp lines like this. So imagine, just for a second, where's the planets here? All right. Okay, so imagine that in the end, this is going to look kind of like that. It'll be like that. Probably not that far. It'll probably be more like a 5. But everything will be slightly blurred because it'll be, you know, in the background. So that's ultimately where it'll be. I'm not going to do it yet because I want to get the everything else in place. And Saturn is basically just a bunch of rings. It's got a bunch. It's surrounded by rings and it has a bunch of rings. Okay. Okay. So, interesting. I'm going to figure out how I'm going to do that. So I guess what I need to do is get a color. So let's bump that up by 5%. That's going to be my next color. Take that. Let's erase all that out of there. And then we'll go to this one. And we just need to kind of create somewhat of a ring structure on it. Did I put that on its own layer? Yes, I did. That's good. Okay, so now let's go ahead and duplicate that. We'll move that down. Oh, well. Actually, that doesn't matter. That's okay. So we'll do that. And then we'll do this. And we'll just kind of keep doing these rings. Don't have to do a ton of them, but just enough to kind of give you a rough idea of the planet there. So right there. And then I'll do one more on one more layer down here. It's a little more rounded just because the bottom would probably be more rounded. Okay, so there's our rings. Of course, that ring looks weird to me. I don't think it's angled enough. Let me do that again. No. Okay, that's good. That's good. And then we'll do some color matching on that in a second. Oh, that's another... So, or actually color changing. So I probably want this ring to be, yeah, that's not bad. Darken that a little bit. Yep. Actually, let's see. Let's move the shading on that. Just to, actually, no. Just bump the saturation up. That's fine. And then this ring is here. So let's bump the saturation up on that by 70%. And then the one before it will bump the saturation up by 10%. And then the one that's the top one will bump the saturation down by 10%. Okay, there we go. Yeah, see, that gives it some variation, but without going too crazy. And then what I need to do is take this. And, oh, you know what? Actually, no, that's fine. That's fine. This is the tricky bit, is getting this to be correct. I don't want to go too far over. Let me go across this line. Actually, I can just... Oh, that'll work. That's already under there. Perfect. That's what I was trying to do. I didn't realize this line was already under that line. So this will just kind of go in there. We can go off the edge there, obviously. That's not a problem. Let's bring this in. Color this. Oh, it froze. Now it froze. Hold on. That'll come back in a second. Sorry. I didn't realize it froze there. Coming back in a second, and there. Sorry. That's what I was doing, was these lines on the planet. Sorry, I didn't realize it froze until I was already quite a ways in. That's the thing, is it's not really obvious because I'm looking down in the monitor that shows me all the stream stuff is above me. So it's not the easiest thing to tell unless I do something really, really big like that, and then I can notice whether it's not moving. So, sorry, I didn't realize. All right, so then we'll do this, and on this layer, go in here. I don't have to worry about the bottom, I only have to worry about the top. I do have to get the edges right though. So let's just do this really close so it's easier. Do that, and we'll just do this. There we are, and then I have to erase as well. So that we keep that edge nice and clean. There we are. And of course the layer above it, gotta erase that edge. There we are. And where are we? Okay, we're at 45 minutes. So probably about another 15 minutes. I'm going to go for about an hour today. I do have some other stuff I have to do. So I have to do some... Got to run a few errands here and there. But that's okay. I want to get a good chunk of this in. I do feel like I've done that, so that's good. And I'm close to this being done. I really feel like I'm pretty close to this being finished. More or less. Okay, there we go. Let's get that pen. There we are. All right. Perfect. Eraser, same thing. We're just going to erase back to here. Just to show the planet. That's the different layer over here. We have to erase right there. And then we bring this in. And there we are. That's good. Oh, that's going to go behind that, so I'm good there. Excellent. Excellent. On this one, same thing. I got to sample that color, which is tough to see the difference, but there is actually a difference in that. In fact, you know what? Or is that the same? Wait, is that the same color? This one might have been the one that's kind of the bookend color. Let's see. Oh, no, it is slightly different. Yeah, it's hard to see it, but it is different. That's okay, because it should... Not everything should be that obviously different. Planet rings aren't like that. So I'm actually okay with the fact that some of it might be difficult to necessarily make out right away. That is not a bad thing. Let's go ahead and erase right here. Get that planetary curve back in. And right there. Get rid of that. Okay, it didn't freeze again, so that's a plus. Yeah, that's the only trick, is sometimes it will freeze on me. For some reason, I really don't know why it does it. Because it's definitely not... I've checked the CPU to make sure it's not a resource problem. Doesn't appear to be. CPU's not getting hammered or anything, so I don't know why it freezes. And, oh, you know what? I have to... No, that's okay. That's good. That's good. So we're going to go ahead and take this. That's this one. And we're going to go ahead and do a slimmer line right there. Oh. Yeah, that's pretty good. I got it pretty close there. Okay, good. Didn't think I was going to get it that close. Managed to. That was going to be a little bit off, but it's okay. We're good. We're good, we're good, we're good. So we're just going to fill this here. And be careful, because that will overlap the other one. We'll just use this brush because this is a smaller area, so I don't need the huge paintbrush for this. There we are. There we are. All right. And there we are. Let's get our eraser. And let's trim that out. And what I'm going to do... Oh, I missed one. Whoops. Oh, because that was the first one. I forgot about that one. All right, there. Now we've got the planet where we need it, so we can actually... So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flatten all this down and make the planet a single object. There we go. I'm going to duplicate it, turn one off. And on this one, this is the one that I'm going to slightly blur by about 5%. And see, now all those layers kind of blend in. So you still have the idea that it's what's the word for it? That it is, the banding of the planet is still there, but now it's softened because I blurred everything. Now, as far as the rings, I'm going to make the rings kind of just a gray color. Kind of a bluish gray type of toned ring structure here. Something like that. So let's go ahead and go one above. And those will be sharp. Well... The inner parts will be sharp. The outer part will be blurred as well. So let's go ahead and just follow this line as much as I can here. So I'm going to follow this as closely as I can. Try to preserve that arc. Ooh, that'll do it. That's good. Okay. Now I'm going to do a second one inside and try to follow that arc again. Just need to get it generally correct. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just has to generally follow that line. There we are. And one more, because I can actually recolor these after the fact. So we'll do one more like this. Follow that in. And there. Okay. So there's the lines. I'm going to turn the planet off for just a minute so I can look at these individually. I'm going to color this in. That'll, of course, get erased in a second because it goes behind the planet. Oh, wait. I'm on the wrong one. I'm on the wrong one. There we go. So there's the planet off. This is the outer one. So this is the outer one. Okay. You know, maybe I'll leave those black lines in there, and those will be the inner kind of... They do have those types of lines on the actual rings, so maybe I'll leave that. That goes in. This is going in front of the planet. So we'll do this. So that might actually work out. Having the black rings, or the black lines there, that might actually be perfect. Okay, now the inner ring, which is this one, I'm going to do a brightness adjustment on it. There we go. See, now it looks a little different. Right? So we'll take that color now, and that color goes in here, and that's going to be behind that ring. So that's fine, like this. And okay, bring that in, and then the other one will be, I might go darker with the other one and kind of make it look darker. Because some of these rings, if you actually look at the planetary rings, they're all over the place in terms of how they actually look. It's really interesting. Okay, so now for the outer ring, or whatever you want to call this, let's punch that brightness down, and let's drop the... Okay, so now where's the sky? Is that this? Yeah, so there's our... Oh, well, okay, I don't want to turn everything off. I forgot. I want to use those inner rings. So where's the sky? Sky. Here it is. So actually what I want to turn off is that. And then one of these rings I don't need. Which one was it? I think it was... It's not that one. That one. No, I do need that one. Oh, I see what I did. Hold on. Let me go back to here. Or wait. Which one's on the top? Oh, wait. This is the bottom one. This is the top one. This one, I just have to clean this up. Because I want to use that black ring. So that, I got to just clean that up real quickly. And then we'll have that ring ready to be used as a kind of differentiator. Okay. Just going to make sure it doesn't go too far into that. And then let's grab this. Oh, yeah. You can see what I did. But luckily, it's very simple to clean that up. Oh, and I missed a spot. Here we go. And we'll do this. Speaking of cleaning, that's the thing I have to do next, which is really fun. It's all right, though. It has to get done. Oh, that's probably behind the planet, so I probably don't have to go that crazy with this. And then on... So on the sky, I don't need that. I'm gonna leave those two. What I do need to do is in here, I need to, wait, where's the planet? Oh yeah, no, I do need that. Okay, so, oh, that's gonna be interesting. I hadn't thought about that. That's interesting. How am I going to do that? I know how I'm going to do it. Okay. Hold on. I was kind of screwing myself up for a minute because I'm trying to figure out... There we go. If I'm going to use those, that's fine. That part's fine. Oh, need some in there. There we go. Just got to check for gaps. Just checking. Not too bad. So for this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to merge that down. I'm going to merge that... Yeah, merge that down. So on this, I have to erase. Let's use... Oh, whoa, that brush is huge. So I have to do this so that the planet kind of shines through. See, because it has to kind of go behind it. Which is tricky because you don't want it to be too clean of a line, but you kind of do. So I'm going to go very lightly with the Apple Pencil here because it has pressure sensitivity. Hope that looks right. Yeah, it's okay. It's not bad. let's put it this way, at this size, I can live with it. So I think I'm okay with that. So that's going to be that planet, although that really should be blurred because that's in the distance too. So actually, I may have, let me turn that back off. Let me turn, hold on. Let's put all that stuff back. Okay, because that really should be blurred just like everything else is. So like it, like that. And then the same thing with those rings. I would say, let's move that down. I would say these also have to be blurred a bit. Like 1%. I think that's probably where they have to be. Yeah, something like that. And now I can come in here with the airbrush and very lightly start to get rid of this. Oh, I'm on the wrong way. Sorry. It would be here. Very, very lightly just start to get rid of that. So it's like that or so. Yep. Yeah, I think that's going to work. Makes me wonder if maybe I blurred the planet too much. So let's see if I bring this planet back. Let's expand this a bit. Right, and then I blur it a little bit less. I think it'll probably work better. So maybe only 3% as opposed to 5. Yeah, I think that's going to work better. You can still see this, right? Okay, just checking. Making sure I didn't freeze the thing and not realize it again. Yeah, that's better. Do also then have to erase a bit of those rings. Right here, just a little bit. Fade that out just a tad. And fade that one out just a tad. Okay. Alright, so we got that planet in place. And then let's do one that's more of a kind of a Venus, like a cold blue. Something like that. And that's going to be the other planetoid, which we'll put right here. Let's get the brush. Let's go ahead and do this. Boy, do I like that Procreate will go ahead and help me make a circle. As you can see how bad that circle was going to look if I just let it do what it had to do. So we'll turn that off, and then we'll fill this in. All right. Okay, well, not there. I'm just going to go ahead and, oh, let's get my clean line back. No, inking. There it is. Okay. This cloud wouldn't show any of that at this level. It's too far up. Cloud would be over that by quite a bit. So don't have to worry. Originally I thought, oh, maybe you'll see it through the cloud, but realistically, no, you wouldn't. I'm thinking of, like, you know, if the moon is visible during the day, you don't see it through clouds. Even as bright as the moon can be during the day, it's still too far off for you to really be able to see it. So I'm not going to worry about that too much. Actually, this is going to be lighter too. I can tell you right now, I don't like how bright that is. Ooh, going right at about an hour. So I'm going to make it more like that and sort of play around with that. Something like that. Yeah, something like that. A little bit better. And then what I'll do is, just to give it some, a little bit of, you know, individuality to it. Let's do something like this. We just kind of have these center points that are shooting. Actually, I should do it in white. That would be better. Do it in white, and I can just dull it. So something like this, where you see kind of, this is kind of like some of, like Titan moons like that have these kind of spikes that come off them, indicate, you know, crater hits or something like that. So just a general thing coming out of here. You know, just some like damage to the surface type of stuff, and then I'm going to blur this out too, so this won't look as weird as it does right now. And then just kind of like something coming off of there, or that. Actually, no, I don't like that. This is fine like this. All right, so now we're going to drop that opacity down. So it's just like that. And then we're going to blur the whole thing. Actually, hold on. Let me see. Let me do a blur on this. Like a 2% blur there. merge that down, take this, blur this out a little bit. Yeah, see? Make that look like it's even further away. See, and then those streaks don't look as weird. Yeah, that's pretty good. You know what? I don't know that it's necessarily done, but this is pretty close to where it's going to be. And that's perfect because we're right in an hour, and that's generally how long I like to work on something before I give it a break and don't look at it for a bit. So, the only thing that's weird is... Oh, that's the glow. Okay, I know what that is. Never mind. Thought I saw something weird. I didn't. So you know what? This is a perfect place to bring this stream to a close. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. There we go. So yeah, this is almost done. I am very, very happy to say. Close to being done. Well, like I said, I'm not going to be doing a stream. I might do a stream next week one day, but I definitely won't be doing 2 days because my mother will be here visiting, and so I'm going to be spending time with her. So I don't know how much time I'll even if I do the 1 day. It probably will not be a particularly long one, but we'll see. We'll see. But definitely won't be 2 days. At least I really seriously doubt it. So in any event, thank you for hanging out for a bit. I'm glad I was able to do a stream earlier than usual, and that way people sometimes who can't make the regular ones could pop in and say hello. Well, thanks very much, Aaron. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, and thank you for doing the getting the proof because yeah, it's fun. So let's see. Thanks, Chill Mode. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's coming out all right. It's coming out all right. You never know with these things. When you start them, you have an idea in your head, and like I said, the trick is getting it out of your head and actually having it work. And that's not always easy. In fact, a lot of times it's not easy. So I'm pleased with where it's going to be, and I think he's going to like it a lot better as a book cover, and it's going to be more colorful and not black and white, and it'll help him sell some books, which is also something I want to help him with. So, all right, everybody. Thank you for stopping by and hanging out for a bit. All the streams get put up on the YouTube channel, so if you want to go back and watch the older ones, they're all there because Twitch expires them unless you pay, but since YouTube doesn't, I just use it for that. So all that stuff is on the YouTube channel. Same name is on the top there, Ozone Art Foundry. That's kind of everything. And go watch somebody else be creative now. Don't stop here. Go watch somebody else who's painting or making music or doing something else because creativity is really good for you. And the more you get of it in your life, the better. So again, though, thank you for coming by here. If you're watching this later, thank you for watching it later. I don't care whether people watch it live or not. That's not the point. It's more important to me that people just get, like I said, as much creativity as they can in their lives. So thank you very much for stopping by.